or is it also
sure.
stupid?
I love I looked up, I was trying to find the dates for these things. We took that call where the person was talking about the left and how the left started cancel culture, and the left are the ones that started. We've had alien sedition acts going back into the 1700s. I had to look up the first one, all the way back to 1798. Lincoln passed the Sedition Act. You weren't allowed to say negative things about the government during the war, and that happened a few times. I think that happened up until Vietnam, if I remember correctly. I may be wrong about this. I'm not a historian, but like if I remember right, up until Vietnam, every time we were at war, we had a law saying you weren't allowed to badmouth the government or the military, or you would go to jail.
Bro,
if you said
we had
negative things about the president.
McCarthyism. The right tried to cancel people so hard that they were throwing people in jail for thinking they were even remotely insinuating they were fucking communists. Please. All right, let's get to the next call before
you were going to jail for being communist.
Forrest communist confirmed. Let's get to the next call before we lose stream again. Okay, we're bringing up Rory. Rory, welcome to the show. Rory. If Call in Studio is loading properly. Okay, there we go. Rory, welcome in. Are you here to debate?
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Oh, that doesn't bode me with confidence. Rory, can I just get your name, age, and pronouns, please?
Response.
My name is Rory. My age is 33, and he, him.
Okay, and Rory, you want to talk about the Christian God being evil and not real. Do you disagree with us that the Christian God is evil and not real?
Well, I'll give you my premise, and I'll let you decide if you want to keep me on.
Okay. Well, I would feel bad if we kicked you. You were waiting for an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
No, that's all good. I'm pretty free today. I do agree that the traditional conception of the Christian God is evil, but I have an interpretation of the Bible and the Christianity that I have, but it does not involve a belief in the supernatural. So I'm going to agree with you guys on anything that involves supernatural claims. So
just to be clear, you said that you have a belief in God that doesn't involve the supernatural?
Well, I have an interpretation of Christianity that doesn't involve the supernatural.
How is it possible for a God to exist in a way that isn't supernatural?
Well, the God itself is just like, I would say, a representation of the collective consciousness of a group of people.
Okay. So then, do you believe in heaven and hell?
Wait, are we calling God? What is the thing in myth? What's the thing from Supernatural? A thought form? Is that what we're saying God is? Like when enough people believe in him, he becomes real?
Well, I would just say he's a representation of the collective consciousness of a people or a people group, and so it seems to me that part of human behavior is projecting our values onto a character or a figure, and so God would be one of the forms in which we do that.
This is all you, Forrest. This is not me.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't understand. Fuck. Okay, I don't understand the distinction. So I'm going to ask again. Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Not like that. Not like traditional Christians.
Rory?
No. I would say that the heaven and hell.
I didn't ask how.
Yeah, in my interpretation of Christianity, I would say heaven and hell. Yeah, go ahead. What?
It's my internet's now again being a bitch, so there is a bit
believe
of a lag.
Souls?
So we got to try to try to reset. You know what?
That's fine. Do you believe in souls, Rory?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe in souls.
Okay. What goes to heaven and hell
So
if not a soul?
I believe heaven and hell are just possible futures for humanity. Heaven being a future in which everyone lives through, let's say, love. Hell being a future in which everyone lives through fear.
Thank you, Boo.
Do you believe in the resurrection of Jesus?
No.
Okay. Do you believe in the Bible at all?
Yeah, I have an interpretation of the Bible that I believe.
Okay.
So
just to be clear, from what I'm understanding, I'm going to repeat what I understand back to you, and you can tell me if I'm getting something wrong here. What I am understanding you're saying so far is that you do believe in a God insofar as you believe in a collective understanding of something higher than ourselves, but not an actual physical being that has any kind of actual authority or power or influence over the world around us. You do believe in an ideal utopian society that could be possible, and the antithesis of that, a horrible society that could be possible, and that the point of human existence is over time, over the course of multiple generations, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of years, we will eventually get to one of those societies. And the point of your interpretation of Christianity is to try to strive for the better society, which will come along way long after you're dead. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, probably. That would probably be the basics. So, can I just tell you how I interpret the Bible?
Then you don't believe in... Then you...
Just lay it out there.
Well, I'm just going to be clear. What you just talked about there, that isn't the Christian God. You can call it a Christian version of whatever, but you are not describing a theistic position. You are describing an atheistic position that is largely rooted just in like some moral principles that you may be deriving from the Bible, whatever your interpretation is. And I think that that's completely unnecessary considering just how much shit you have to dig through to find the little bit of corn that you're pulling out here. The Bible isn't a good book. It has some good things in it, but they're not worth the effort. You can get those good things any other way. We can find our way to a better society any other way. So you are just stretching the word Christian into an atheistic framework, which you will not even see the fruits of by your definition. I don't understand where we're at with this call.
Sure. The way I see it, I guess, is that if we were to look at like politics, a lot of times people say that in politics you need revolutionaries and you need reformists. And in this case, as far as Christianity goes, you guys would be the revolutionaries trying to deconvert people from Christianity. And I would be like a reformist trying to reform Christianity, basically toward the same ends that you guys would like to deconvert people.
Right. I don't think that there's any use in doing that. And I think it's dishonest to try to do that in the framework that it sounds like you're laying out, because there's Christianity as itself, I don't think is worth saving. It's not, there's no real benefit that you get from Christianity that's worth the baggage you have to take on along with it, and that you can't get anywhere else without that baggage. So you can be just as good as your perfect Christian whatever without the horrors of Christianity along with it, and without having to then atone for the sins of Christianity over the past couple millennia. More importantly, however, just saying that we're coming to this revolutionary position of trying to deconvert people from Christianity, we're advocating for positive futures, as you claim that you are. you're just doing it in a way that strips away the identity from one group of people in order to then repackage it as something more palatable for other people, all in the hopes of maintaining brand recognizability. I don't think that that's necessary or good. And it sounds like we're both atheists. So we agree that the God of the Bible is evil, I hope, and isn't real. I know you don't agree with that. So I don't know what there is to talk about beyond that.
Yeah, well, the reason that well, I guess I'll start with this. Like, I think that, I guess I don't have a problem with you guys, like, deconverting people. And if you can deconvert all Christians, that'll be fine with me. But I guess I don't see that happening. So if Christianity is to stick around, I'd rather it be a version that's better than like the
Rory,
conservative Christianity that
I want to just say, like, I'm not saying that you're doing this, but just like imagine if somebody had been like, "Hey, I know you're advocating to get rid of slavery, but it seems like slavery's not going anywhere. So why not just reform it and we can have like a better version of slavery?" I would look at that person and be like, "What are you like? No, let's get rid. If I can tell that this thing is harmful, I'm not going to just try to reform it and make it better. I want it gone. I want it completely replaced with something that is not harmful."
Yeah, I mean, I don't see it as exactly the same because slavery is an action. So I'm talking about ideas
in Christianity
here.
Is an action that has been used to justify a lot of oppression over the millennia.
Right. I would love to change that.
I would too, by getting rid of it. It's not like it doesn't. It's not like it serves a purpose that like something else can't serve in its place. You know.
That's true. Like theoretically, something else could serve in its place. I guess what I see. Well, I guess what I see in the Bible is that it addresses, or at least my interpretation of it, as it addresses a fundamental paradox in human existence. That being that the survival mechanism, the fear of death that drives all biological existence, the thing that's kept us alive this whole time, is simultaneously fueling our self-destruction. And I believe that's what my interpretation of Christianity addresses.
Have you looked into any other religious philosophies and judged them in this way or tried to interpret them in this way?
No, but I would love it if
you should,
believers
because at the end of the day
or other philosophies.
I think it's important for you to recognize the fact that Christianity makes very few unique claims. Like as a whole, especially as a moral system that you're talking about here, or as a philosophical reflection of human nature and all these things, very, very few unique ideas in Christianity that you can't find in lots of other religions, and also like non-religious philosophies all around the world. So you're just, like I said, you are trying to take something that has been a source of pain and suffering and justification for all manner of evil things for centuries and repackage it into something palatable in order to sell a message. And I'm not into that. But that's everything I got for this call. I don't think we're gonna agree on the function here.
Okay. I guess I would just say that yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Christianity is probably not unique in this way, but at least here in America, a bunch of people are Christians, and as you've seen, their beliefs are so inconsistent. Like I don't think it really matters what they believe. They just like being part of the club. So if you can make that club into a better club, I guess that would be my goal.
Okay, I don't see a utility in that, but okay.
Good luck.
Okay.
Good luck convincing the Christians to believe in your atheistic version of Christianity. I'm sure they'll love it.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yep, no problem. Have a good rest of your day.
I genuinely appreciate you waiting as long as you did and articulating your point.
Too.
I don't abide with it, but I appreciate you waiting and I appreciate you talking to us sincerely.
Okay, yeah, for sure. I'm a big fan of both of you guys, actually, so it was nice to talk to you.
Yeah, for sure.
On.
Have a good rest of your day, Rory.
Cool. Take care, man.
Okay.
Your YouTube chat is so different than your Twitch chat, and it's crazy.
Your YouTube chat is toxic.
Well, what's frustrating, it is, and what's frustrating is the amount of people you have in here who just won't fucking pick up the phone. You've got this fucking nut job in here, Vance Musk 2028.
Oh, he's here all the time. He's a fan.
Biggest losers.
He's
pick
definitely
the two biggest fucking losers you can and put them on a ticket. And is just bitching and bitching and bitching, not about anything we've said or anything that we believe, but what they presume that we say and believe, and what other streamers say and believe, and not a single one of which is like anything that they've called in about. Nothing. And you've got plenty of other ones in here too. This person talking about how they want God to soften our heart. Oh, you mean the opposite of what he does over and over in the Bible? That's fucking cool. Maybe you should call in about it. All these fucking transphobes in here talking about bathrooms and shit. Maybe you should fucking call in about it. No, but the problem is if you call in about it, I'm going to break out a fucking like undergrad biology textbook and show you the things that you easily could have learned if you actually cared a little bit about the shit that you were spewing and weren't just looking for lazy, easy talking points to justify your stupidity and hate. Like, fuck, man. Sucks to suck. I wouldn't know.
8 down. All right, we've got our last call. This is our last call for the day. We started at what, 10? It's now almost 2. So how long is that as a stream?
That's
almost 4 hours.
3.5 hours so far. We've been on.
Yeah. So when I count time, this is how I have to do it. I can't add because for some reason time in addition doesn't work for me. So like, let's say I'm like, okay, how much time is between 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. and 6 p.m.? I count on my fingers. I go all of 12, all of 1, all of 2, all of 3, all of 4, all of 5. 6 hours. That's how I do it. And I don't know why, but that's how I have to do it. If I try to do it any other way, my brain physically can't do it. Let's bring up next up on the stream, the last call of the day. We have Godwin.
The last one.
Godwin, welcome in. Are you here to debate?
Yes, sir. How you guys on?
We're doing good, Godwin. You waited 2 hours. You get the prize for longest wait today. So congratulations on your prize.
Hey.
Godwin, can you just tell us your age and your pronouns, please?
24. Pronouns can be he, him.
Okay. Oh, can be. That's very progressive. And you also want to talk about the Christian God being evil and not real. Godwin, are you a Christian?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. Which would you like to start at first? Would you like to present us with evidence of God, if you have it, so you can prove he's real? Or would you like to just go, would you like us to just go, yes, he's real, but he's also evil?
I believe God is just. The God, Christian God, God of the Bible is just, merciful, and loving. So I think I would like to hear you guys' side of why you believe or your supporting claims for the argument.
Okay. You have been on the line.
We're moving forward on the assumption that this God is real.
Yeah. Really quickly, Godwin, you've been on the line for 2 hours. So you heard I would hope you unless you had your phone muted, which is totally fine if you did. I probably would too. You would have possibly heard our other calls. Did you hear our conversation with one of the previous guests about Moses and the Pharaoh and that story? Moses and Ramses. Ramses?
Yeah, I heard the I think I heard the one about the Moses story. I might need your help to reiterate some of the points though, and it's kind of breaking up a little bit. So I'm sorry if I ask you to sort of repeat.
No worries. If we lose you, we will call you back. So don't worry about that. You waited 2 hours. We're not going to let you suffer. God came to Moses. God appeared to Moses as a burning bush.
Mm-hmm.
He told Moses, "Hey, you need to free the Israelites from slavery. What I want you to do is I want you to go talk to the Pharaoh." And Moses is like, "Oh, I'm the Pharaoh. I'm just gonna go ask the Pharaoh. Me and him were chill, right? Me and him, we were tight as thieves. We were brothers. I'll go talk to him. He'll listen to me." And God's like, "Well, hold up a second, Moses. Wait a second. Pause. Chill. Hold up. I'm gonna harden the Pharaoh's heart first." And Moses is like, "Well, wait, what?" And God, as the burning bush, is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna harden the Pharaoh's heart, and then the Pharaoh will say no to you." And Moses is like, "Well, would he have said yes otherwise?" And God's like, "Well, yeah, probably, but I don't want him to say yes. So I'm going to harden his heart and do all of that." And so what happens is Moses then goes to the Pharaoh and he's like, "Hey, Pharaoh, can you let my people go? Like let my people go." Right? He says that to the Pharaoh. And the Pharaoh's like, "Nah, son, y'all slaves, y'all gonna stay slaves." And it's interesting because then Moses goes back to God, and God is like, "Don't worry, Moses, we're gonna punish him for this, and we're gonna punish all of Egypt for this." And he sends the plagues, one of which being the death of all firstborns in Egypt. Now, it seems to me that a just God would not have killed all the firstborns for something the Pharaoh did when he made the Pharaoh do it.
I'd argue that God did not make Pharaoh.
He hardened his heart.
Make the choice that he made, and
Pharaoh would have let them go had God not hardened his heart.
So there's okay, I hear you. There's other places in Exodus also where it says that Pharaoh hardened his heart, right?
Yep.
So the general interpretation of that text, or the general interpretation of that scenario, is God's foreknowledge and God's providence in action. So God knew that Pharaoh was going to make this decision.
That's not what he says.
That he was going to harden his.
God specifically says, "I will harden Pharaoh's heart." Not Pharaoh's heart will harden, right? Not you will go to do this with Pharaoh and his heart will already be hardened. No, it's I, as the Lord, am going to pre-harden his heart so he does not let you go.
Also, even if that wasn't the case,
chapter 4. How about
killing
Exodus
a bunch
chapter 8
of children?
Verse 15. Look at Exodus chapter 8.
Sure.
Sorry, what was that?
Right. Also, even if that wasn't the case, killing a bunch of children because of what their political leaders do isn't justice.
Okay, so
Thank you, Boo.
are we? Okay, so we're moving on from the God's hardening Pharaoh's heart.
Well, no, the whole purpose is that you claim God to be a just and all good God, but it seems weird that an all good God would punish a bunch of children specifically, kill a bunch of innocent kids for an action that the Pharaoh only committed because God intervened and made the Pharaoh do it.
Well, that's the thing though. God did not make the Pharaoh do it.
Can you read the verse?
So even if I'm trying to get across to you, Godwin, is even if we interpret it the way you interpret it and say that the Pharaoh was just super evil and super bad and he just wanted slaves because he did, and so he hardened his own heart and he rebelled against God, why then is it necessary to give all the citizens boils and sores, to kill all their livestock, and then to slaughter their children so that the Pharaoh will change his mind? Why not punish the Pharaoh for having slaves? Why do you need to punish all these innocent people and kill their children in order to stop the Pharaoh from making a political decision?
again, so the
Is that
children
justice?
of Israel, so God refers to them as his firstborn, right? So we're trying to play this out. Let's play that. So God referred to them as his firstborn, and so okay, so they've kept God's firstborn in captivity for over 400 years. They've been killing his first children, or the children of Israel, for over 400 years. The Egyptians have been maltreating and doing all the same horrible things to the children of Israel for over 400 years until God steps in at this time. What we even see one place just verses before that, or a little bit somewhere in Exodus, where Moses, where the taskmaster, the slave master, was mistreating an Israelite, and then Moses intervened, and that sort of thing. So that's something that has been happening for over 400 years. Many Israelites have died in slavery over 400 years. And so, well, okay, we're not taking that into account to compare the justice of God. I'm not saying if or when God does intervene, and when he does decide that this act of taking the firstborn of the Egyptians, right, he's all-knowing and he's all-powerful. And so over the 400 years, what might have happened to the children of Israel could, because I'm not God, so I don't know the balance or what the justice is, but I know that he's just, so I know that his actions will not what's the word I'm looking for? His actions were not more than what was required for the situation in that sense. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Because again, it's the firstborn of God and then the firstborn of the Egyptians. And so when God steps in for his firstborn,
just to be clear,
then it's a problem. But when the Egyptians, go ahead.
I want to be clear. That was, what was that? 3 minutes, 4 minutes of all that, all leading up to the necessary statement, and that's why it was a good thing that he killed those babies. So, like, that's where we're getting to, is you're saying, here's all these bad things that happened for hundreds of years. That's why it's a good thing that God killed all those babies. Here's we can draw an analogy to the United States. The United States, we had slavery here. We enslaved black people. We killed their children. We literally fucking ate them. How many white people should now be killed? How many white children should be killed? How many babies should be murdered to make up for that and make it justice?
Well, and here's the thing also, right? Here's the major problem with this.
We're not going to answer that. We're not going to answer that because it's okay.
Sorry,
it's okay when God kills children as retribution, but it's not okay when I do it, right? The question was, how many white children should we kill in the United States in order to make up for slavery?
None.
Right. So
None.
God killing babies in Israel doesn't make up for the Israelites being enslaved. Or sorry, in Egypt, pardon me. Doesn't make up for that, doesn't justify that, doesn't allow that to be better in any way. Them being enslaved doesn't mean God gets to now kill Israel or Egyptian children. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And that was your entire fucking argument there. I don't think that's justice. Certainly not morality.
Based on what? What's your definition of morality? By what standards are you
we can get to that
God?
If you'd like.
Understanding
we can
who God
get to
is.
that if you'd like.
Huh?
We can get to that if you'd like.
Sorry, I didn't get
but
that.
That's not going to get you up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Godwin, we can get to that if you'd like. I'd be happy to talk about my morality and my justice and all those things. But it's not going to get you out of the particular moral bind that you are currently in, which is that you are saying it was a good thing and a justifiable and a moral thing for God to kill children in Egypt because their parents and their king kill Israelite children. These children died, so now God gets to kill those children. That's not justice.
But that's exactly where we're at, though. So you're inferring or you're applying to God what would be applied to us as His creation.
Yes, we're telling God that He should live by His own moral standards. Yeah.
So then, do you disagree? Do you think that it was a good thing to murder Do you think it was a good thing for God to murder those innocent children?
I'll say it's not murder because He is creator. He can take a life, yes, but it's not murder if God takes a life.
Okay, so just really quickly, if God
do you see that how murder applies to us?
Godwin, hold on. If God showed up to you today and was like, Godwin, I'm going to give you a prophecy. Tomorrow, Godwin, I am going to commit 17 9/11s in the United States. I'm going to do 17 9/11s specifically tomorrow. Everybody on these planes, nobody has done anything wrong on these planes. And in fact, everyone on all 17 planes are orphans. Okay? They're all 5-year-old orphans. But I'm going to commit 17 9/11s to these 5-year-old orphans because I want to teach Joe Biden a lesson. So because I want to teach Joe Biden a lesson, I'm going to do 17 9/11s. You, Godwin, could stop it. You could stop it. All you'd have to do is pick up the phone and you would stop all these children. And I'm only going to attempt this once. So if you picked up the phone and stopped it, but if you stop it, you'll be going against me, God. Now, Godwin, I want you to really think about this for a second. Let's say you're sitting there and you know you could stop 17 9/11s, all of firstborn orphans. Would you do it?
If I could do something, so that's a nice scenario. But imagine that's where Pharaoh was.
That's exactly where Pharaoh was.
He had the choice.
He's not going to answer it.
That is exactly where Pharaoh was.
He had the option. No, so Moses comes to him and tells him, "Let the Israelites go, or this thing is going to happen." Right now, what this was about was. Sorry, what was that?
Oh, Moses warned Pharaoh about the plagues, just FYI. He warned him. He said specifically what would happen if Pharaoh didn't listen.
I'm laughing at the fact that you didn't address the very silly hypothetical that Jovan gave you and instead are trying to go into this weird-ass apologetic nonsense. And I'm also laughing at the fact that, this isn't even close to the only example of God being an immoral monster throughout the Bible. I was going to bring up another one after this and just see if maybe you think, we can all agree slavery is really bad. Do you think that putting the wrong incense in an incense burner is bad? Do you think pulling out is bad? Do you think working on a Saturday is bad? Because God's fucking thinks you should be murdered for those things too. We're going to go through examples of him doing those things and see if that was moral in those situations. But it appears that you can't even answer the question of whether or not you would stop 17 9/11s. Because if
just
God
a reminder,
does something, it's okay.
Yeah, just a reminder, Moses warned Pharaoh that the 10th plague, the death of the firstborns, would happen. He told him that it would happen. And Pharaoh still didn't listen. Even after Pharaoh had already seen that all of the other plagues would happen. So if you were in Pharaoh's
shoes, the boils, the locust.
Now, I'm making the analogy slightly different, right? I'm saying, let's put you in Pharaoh's shoes, but instead, let's say God is commanding that this action does happen. Would you stop it? Would you say, if God's saying, Godwin, you can stop it. I'm testing you here. You could stop it. If you do, you go against me and I'm going to punish you for all eternity. But you would stop the deaths of, I don't know, how many people died in 9/11?
3,000.
Okay, so 3,000 times 17. Lots of deaths. You would have stopped so many deaths, Godwin. So much needless suffering stopped at your hands. But you would be essentially going against God. Would you do it?
And the reason why I choose not to answer that question is because you're deliberately painting a picture that wouldn't otherwise happen. Because
God never commanded people to kill innocents?
Scenario in the first place.
God never commanded people to kill innocents?
Sorry, what?
Just to be clear, that's the laziest fucking response. That's the laziest response in the world. You just won't address a hypothetical that you don't think is real, especially considering the fact that God does do equally horrific shit in the Bible.
Let's change it up a little bit.
No,
let's change it up a little
I'm not
bit. What if
addressing
God
that because I don't think it's real. I'm not addressing it because of the fact that you are trying to get to a point and you're trying to paint a deliberate picture.
Wait,
which
sure.
is a
Let's
yes
change it.
or
Let's
no,
change it, Godwin.
that
What if
in
God
fact-
shows up to you and tells you to go to a village filled with people, slaughter that village, and rip out, take every pregnant woman in that village and rip their fetuses out of their bodies? God's commanding you to do this. Would you do it? Because this is something he has done.
Sorry, what was that?
I said this is something he has done. If he commanded you to go to a village,
No,
and
sorry.
take he commands you to go to a village, slaughter all the men in the village, take all the pregnant women, and rip their fetuses out of their bodies. Would you do it?
Could you point me to where that was in the scriptures?
Can I just ask you, have you read the Bible?
To rip fetuses out of the body?
Yeah, I'll pull the verse directly. Give me a second.
You hear about Hosea?
Yeah, is that the verse?
I don't remember. I remember Amalek. I don't remember the fetus part. I remember the equally gross shit about Amalek.
Yeah, it's Hosea 13:16. The people of Samaria must bear their guilt because they have rebelled against their God. They will fall by the sword. Their little ones will be dashed to the ground. Their pregnant women ripped open. 2 Kings. He also does it. 2 Kings 8:12. You will set fire to their fortified places, kill their young men with a sword, dash their little children to the ground, and rip open their pregnant women.
I look at Numbers 31:17, where he says, "Kill every male among the little ones, kill every woman that has known a man. The women that have not known a man by lying with them, keep alive for yourself. So kill all the men, kill all the women, but keep the young virgin girls."
So yeah, Hosea 13:16. Did God instruct his people to do that, or did he say that's what was going to happen to a group of people?
He instructed them to do it.
He did not.
And the verse that I just read also was Moses instructing people by God's command.
That was it Numbers?
Numbers 31. Moses is speaking to the people. It is Numbers 31 where Moses is speaking to the people, and he says God commands. He's passing on God's commandments, and he says, "Kill all the men, kill all the women that have known a man by lying with them, but you can keep the virgins for yourself." We can also go into why Saul is no longer king. Saul was made king, and then God told him to go commit genocide and slaughter a whole village, and Saul thought that he should keep the oxen for himself, because he thought they would be good spoils of war. And so God stripped him of his title of king, plagued him with demons for the rest of his life, and drove him insane, and appointed David so that David would go out and actually kill everybody that God told him to kill, without question. Time and time again throughout the Bible, and God commands wholesale slaughter.
So here's the thing, and we can have further conversation around that if you would want to, but there's context to all of that. But
what's the context?
Who were the people?
What is the context, Godwin, that makes it acceptable?
Who are the people of?
What is the context that makes it okay? Where God says specifically, Godwin, what is the specific context where he says, "Kill all the men, kill all the women, kill infant and suckling, donkey and horse and cattle, and keep the virgins for yourself"? Where God says, "Go kill the infants, kill everybody among them, every single one except the virgins." What is the context that makes that good?
So for the major part of it, right? Actually, all of the people that were the surrounding nations of God's people at the time, during this time, these were people that were doing practices that were despicable, practices that were just utterly evil in a sense, right?
The infants were doing that?
So these are people that were doing... Sorry,
no, hold
what was
on.
that?
Godwin, the infants were doing unspeakably evil practices? Because that's 1 Samuel 15. Thus say the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for them in the way and came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not. Slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. God says, go kill their babies. Were those babies evil, Godwin?
So, if you take the time to study the text or to study various
I have
texts surrounding that, for the most part, the majority of those instructions or the majority of those texts were actually also using hyperbolic language as well.
God doesn't use hyperbolic language because hyperbole would be considered a lie, and God does not lie, according to the Bible.
No.
So you're saying when God said, go slaughter their infants, he didn't really mean that. And that's why later on, because that's Saul we're talking about, he's speaking to Saul, and he tells Saul to go slaughter these infants. And then what does he do? He strips Saul of his titles and makes him not king anymore because he doesn't kill enough things.
Because he kept the king of he was the king of the nation that he was sent to, and he kept the spoils.
It is wild how terribly you can miss a point. I have never seen someone miss a point quite as crazily as you, Godwin. The point is, God, as Jovan asked you earlier, if God told you to go kill these innocent people and wipe them out, and you said, well, he wouldn't do that. Can you give me an example of doing it? Here it is. God said, go kill these people. And you said, well, they were doing bad things. God also told them to kill their babies. And now what you've got is, well, it's hyperbolic language. Okay, what about the flood? When God kills the babies for himself? You're telling me when he flooded the entire world and drowned everybody except for one family, there were no children in the world?
No pregnant women?
There were children in the world. But what was the purpose of the flood?
Because God regretted making humans. That's what it says.
Why did he regret making humans?
Why does it matter?
It says...
What context
first of all, how
okay?
First of all, how does an all-knowing being regret anything? He should know what's going to happen, right? But that's beside the point. It says here in Genesis chapter 6,
the language that is being used.
God regretted making man. It grieved him in his heart. And so God said, I will destroy man, which I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping thing and fowls of the air. It makes me sad that I have made them. It says, it repenteth me that I have made them in my version. And so he slaughters every single living thing that isn't some fish and one very incestuous family. That's what happens. So are you telling me that there is a context, Godwin, which makes it okay that these babies were so evil that they deserved to be drowned?
And Godwin, someone did pay to move on, so this will be your final thoughts that you can drop it.
Can it be the second to final? Because I have one more after this that's really important. Can it be second to final? Okay.
So what was that? You said in what context would it be okay?
To drown babies. Give me, because I brought up these evil things that God's doing, and you said that if you study the Bible, you'll see the context. So I want you to tell me, what is the exact context that makes it morally acceptable to drown babies?
There was a corruption of the human race. And so, based on the things that had happened before, where he says the sons of God came down and they made it with, the daughters of man and all of these things. So there was a corruption of the human race that God was trying that God intended to get rid of with the flood.
So the babies weren't racially pure, and that's why.
No, it's not about race. I think specific race, but I think humanity as a whole. And I know you're trying to paint a picture,
right,
but that's not what I said. I said humanity
I'm repeating
as a
what
whole,
you just said.
Corruption.
The humans interbred with whatever, and now you've got impure babies with bad genes that need to be drowned, is what you're advocating for. Credit where it's due. I didn't think you could get grosser, but here we are. Last question from me. Is it possible for God to have created a world since he knows everything and he knows what's going to happen and he knows the future? Was it possible for God to have created a world where he didn't need to drown babies? Was that possible for him?
That would be a world where you wouldn't have your free will. But here's the thing: you want the free will, but at the same time, you're angry at God for giving the free will. So you think
it's worth it? So then you think it's worth it?
Well, okay, that's all we needed.
That's where we're at.
Godwin, it's been real. It's been fun. I don't necessarily know that I'd say it's real fun. But yeah, thanks for calling in. Thanks for chatting with us.
It was worth it to drown the babies so that Godwin can have free will. Then those babies weren't pure. That's what it's all about. We need pure babies here in the world. Gross. Fucking gross.
That's our debates for today. We had a lot of them. Call in studio is the way to go, I think. Let's go through these last super chats, and then that'll be it for the show. First one up is from Legally Maud. Legally Maud said, God actually replaced all of the butter in the palace with margarine, and Pharaoh's bad cholesterol and trans fats rose too far. True. From Iris,
atherosclerosis. It'll harden your heart faster than any god.
From Iris said, Forrest or Jovan, do you know where I can find awareness for DID and BPD? Mental health is very important lately. I don't.
I don't. I'm not a psychologist of any kind. I would recommend talking to, you can reach out to your local university and reach out to the psychology department and ask them if they have a resource thing. They probably do have resource packets training new students, and that they could probably reach out to you, or call your local, whatever, social workers, therapists, whatever like that, and just ask for resource packets. They're usually more than happy to give them out, even if you're not a patient.
Yeah.
He would be cool like that.
Zoe said, I love you both, Forrest and Jovan. Thank you, Zoe, for the super chat.
Thank you very much.
One more said, Forrest, what is a necessary condition to be a human being?
Being in the genus Homo. Strictly speaking, anything in the genus Homo is called a human. So it's what makes it kind of tricky, because Homo sapiens, right? Homo sapiens, our species, has been around for about 200,000 years. So if you say humans started 200,000 years ago, that's correct. But the genus Homo has been around about 2.6 million years. So Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo rudolfensis, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalensis, all these different species of Homo, they are all different species of human. So you could say humans have been around for 2.6 million years, or you can say humans have been around for 200,000 years. Strictly speaking, both statements are correct, because anything in the genus Homo is a human.
Somebody just sent a tip and said, Forrest, what's your favorite dinosaur?
I like Therizinosaurus, giant, stupid-looking thing with these 3 giant claws that were about as long as each of my legs, like 1 meter long claws. They're crazy. And we have no real idea what they were doing with them. We're not sure if they were for digging, or if they were for defense, or if they were for cutting branches, or what. It's kind of a big mystery. They're crazy.
The correct answer was raptors, actually. I hate to burst your bubble.
More than one dinosaur. What raptor?
Don't do this.
There's a lot of.
Don't do this.
What raptor?
Velasa.
Oh, the tiny one.
Whichever one was in Jurassic Park. That's the best dinosaur.
Yeah, no. So
or Littlefoot.
Jurassic Park called those Jurassic Park called those velociraptors.
Don't do
Actual velociraptors were
Don't
like
do this to me.
that big.
Don't do this to
If
me.
a velociraptor came to you,
Don't-
you kick it and it would go away.
Don't do this to
Now,
me.
Utah
Why are
raptor.
you doing this?
Look up Utah raptor.
What?
Utah raptor. They were huge. They were the size of the
Dinosaurs-
velociraptors you see in Jurassic Park.
Okay, why'd you have to do this to me? I love.
pretty cool.
Don't ruin my Jurassic Park.
I'm not rude. I'm making it better. Utah raptor is
No,
way
that's
bigger
like
than
when-
velociraptor.
that's like
Velociraptor is a
when,
little crow-looking thing.
That's like when what's his name? The physics guy, something, the guy with the mustache, black guy with the mustache.
The physics guy with the mustache. You talking Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah. That's like whenever Neil deGrasse Tyson sees a movie and then goes to Twitter and is like, here's everything wrong with this movie. Just let me live, Neil. Fuzzy Logic said, what is the first commandment of our Lord Jovan? And how about Valkova? Wrong answers only. My commandment is be gay, do crime.
My commandment is don't use human beings as farming equipment.
Yeah, that
means I'm
probably is better
than your God.
That's probably better. And then Balthazar said, this qualifies as a violation of Godwin's law. Yeet. And that was the pay to boot Godwin. Thank you, Balthazar. Alan as well. Alan, thank you so much for the $20 on Cash App. Thank you, Alan, for supporting the stream. Thank you all for supporting the stream today. YouTube, this video will be up for you, for everybody, in a week. But if you are a tier 2 member, the video will be up for you now. So shout out to everybody watching. Thank you so much.